So I'm going to do another stream of consciousness chat. It's a format that I kind of enjoy actually, and I find it easier to share my thoughts when I'm not looking at a camera. And I just feel that in general, even if I was either looking at myself or other people online on the camera, I think it's easier. And I know that, for example, Molly McCord, an astrologer who I follow, she is the same, because she says that she finds it easier to channel the information or whatever when she's more in touch with her inner self, I guess. I've not done a video for a while. Been moving through some health stuff, but at the same time kind of birthing some really new and exciting avenues in terms of where things are going with this channel and my other creative bits that I do. So watch this space. But it is all around surrender and faith. But my thoughts have evolved somewhat to be more somatic, more nervous system based, more body based, because I believe that our body is a receiver, like an antenna to the divine. And I guess the biggest shift is moving from the mind into the body and being so embodied that information can come just through us really easily. It's when we get too caught up in the mind, and I've certainly been there, that can actually block our connection from from being in the body and feeling everything, because feeling is the portal. And there's so much content out there that talks about the mind and your thoughts and things like that, but it's actually our feelings that create. It's our feelings that are magnetic. And that's really been a big shift for me, in my own sort of life. So as I'm growing and evolving, I naturally want to grow and evolve what I do and what I offer. But that's not to say our thoughts aren't powerful as well. They absolutely are. But if we're stuck up in the mind and we're not moving our body, or we're not releasing somatically our emotions, we're much less likely to get into that receptive state. Just talking to a friend today, and it's interesting. We both went to an ecstatic dance, or like a gong bath sort of thing on the solstice weekend, and she said that she had an incident and it released a lot of rage. And I had something similar, not so much rage, but like I had so much tension. And I was debating on going to this thing. It looked really good. It was a cacao ecstatic dance and gong bath. And I was umming and ahhing about it. My mind was saying, don't know if you're going to be up to it, all this sort of thing. And half an hour before, I was just like, I'm going to go. And I went and I told them, and I had a chair at the corner of the room, but it was absolutely incredible. There was a opening ceremony. We had frozen fruit at the back. We had cacao, which was incredible. And then just some really awesome funky music. And it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever done ecstatic dance, but that is the ultimate surrender in faith, right? That is the ultimate receptivity to the divine, because you're completely surrendering to the music, and you're just trusting. You're just trusting your body. You're not thinking. You're just going with the flow, going with the music. And I was walking around, like everyone was kind of stood in their like spots at first, just like slowly dancing, and I was just like, I want to move. Something in me just wanted to move, so I was just like dancing or moving around the room. And for the first few minutes I was like, there was a few people dressed in white and linen and stuff, and I was like, this is rainbow rhythms. This is rainbow rhythms. If you know, you know. And I was smirking at first, but then I was like, look, forget these stories. You know, how you're going to label it, whatever it looks like. Just get into your feeling, and it doesn't take me long, a few minutes, and yeah, it's great. It's, if you've never been before, and you're curious, it's basically a process to completely let go in public, where it's a non-judgmental space and you just dance however you want to dance. If you want to roll around on the floor, you can. If you want to jump, if you want to skip, if you want to twirl around, you know, jump up in the air, whatever you want to do, shake. But what's really good is people aren't really looking at each other, so it's like a free form of expression where you're just in your body. Sometimes you have your eyes closed and you're just feeling what the music is doing. And it's interesting when you completely drop all mental stories and you just think, well, what does my body want to do now? There's this beat. Oh, my hips want to shake. Oh, now I want to jump up and down. And now I want to twirl around. Now I want my arms to move in the air. And, you know, after I came out of that, I felt a huge release of energy. Like, my energy was lifted so high. I was buzzing. And alcohol-free event, obviously, it's completely sober, these events, but there's something profound in allowing yourself to let go on that level. And I also wonder how powerful it would be to, you know, include other things like frequency music, like affirmation music, like sound frequencies and other things, you know, healing modalities that could be in the room as well. There's so much potential for these spaces where we can just sort of drop into our bodies and go from there. So that is where I'm at. It's an exciting journey. I've also been reading a fabulous book called Music is Medicine by Emma Marshall. It's one of those books that I know I'm just going to read again and again and again, and you can dip into it in any chapter. And the book is about rhythm. The book is about the fact that we've got out of our natural rhythm, and that rhythm is life. Music is life, you know. Everything has a natural beat to it. Our hearts have a rhythm, you know. Everything. We've got a circadian rhythm. Everything has a rhythm, right? The tides have a rhythm. Seasons have a rhythm. We've all got rhythms. But if you think about it, why are we all getting so stressed and sick and ill in the world? It's because we're just going out of our natural rhythms. It's blindingly obvious, really, when you think about it. But getting back into a natural rhythm is getting back into this tuning of our heart and, you know, what it means to feel good, and getting back to our heart's rhythm and our soul's rhythm, really. And if life is a frequency and doing what you love is the music that makes your heart sing, then it's natural to think that if you're doing something out of alignment with your heart, or you're perhaps not going quite in the direction of what your heart is saying to you, that you may end up sick. Or, you know, your heart's not fully on board with something, or there's something that you need to clear out, right? So yeah, it's a fantastic book. I'm going to keep going on about it because it's, to me it kind of brings together everything from the dance music stuff that I love, you know, to dancing, to movement, to somatics, to also the surrender and the flow state, right? Because dancing is the purest form, one of the purest forms of flow state. It's one modality. It happens to be my favourite one. But everybody has their own ways of getting into flow state. But, you know, you speak to people like Dick Van Dyke. He's pretty old now, bless him, and he's written a book on how dance has kept him kept him young, and that he credits dance to that. And there's also a famous quote that's can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's something about when the ancient Indians or native Indians, they said, oh, what do you do when someone's sad or depressed or sick or something like that? And they say, we ask them when they stop dancing. And I think when you stop dancing, when you stop listening to music, when you stop feeling that joie de vivre, that you just like let that joyful life force course through your veins, because that is the true nature of who you are. And sadly, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that happen that try and squash that. But let's rebel against that, I say, and get back to our childhood nature, because we are children of the divine. We are source consciousness. How we were as little kids, present, mindful, letting all our emotions flow through us is truly our true nature. So be like little children to enter the kingdom, it says in the Bible, and that's really what I believe is all about, is delight yourself in the Lord, delight yourself in the joy of your own temple, because you don't need anything else. And when you delight in that frequency, that love for whatever it is that you're doing, you become a fountain, you become an overflow and an overspill. And that's why it becomes magnetic, because people are just effortlessly drawn to this person that's vibing so hard in their own frequency, because they're doing what they truly love. And it becomes magnetic because that person doesn't need anything else. Anyway, that was a long stream of consciousness, wasn't it? I'll leave it there. Love to hear your thoughts. Catch you later.